So I will start with the finance itself, not going deep into the, not at this point. So what we'll try to cover is covering entire finance and accounts in 1 hour session is not possible for anyone. But what we'll try to cover up is so that you get an overall sense of what is finance, how is finance related to this particular sector, where are the pain points, what actually we need to look on priority, what strategy we need to follow, and the keywords around it, and our financial statement, where we need to actually what are the applicable financial statements and all. So I will try to cover up a basic of all these. At the same time, I will try to focus on the key points. And now, like Aishwarya mentioned, you can note down your questions or put in the chat box, so we can address after the presentation is over. Okay, so because I'm more from corporate, I spent around 20 years in corporate sector, and for last 2 years into social development sector. So I've seen that side, I'm seeing this side now. If someone says corporate is so complex and non-profit is not, or other way around, I will say no. It depends how well you have planned, how you are managing your accounts and finance. If you are ignoring your finance and accounts and just not considering that as a support function, or not giving that importance to your account just for the sake of maintaining, if you are maintaining, it is always going to be complex and it is not going to help you. And that applies to non-profit as well as corporate sectors. Even in corporate sector, people are struggling because they are not investing well, they are not focused on, they don't have a skill people to manage it. So there is a struggle as well. So normally I'm hearing that this sector is problematic, that sector is problematic. No, it's nothing to do with the sector. Finance, less or so. So they are large, they have bigger team, we are small. Let's say in terms of organization, we are a small team. It's more about expertise, dedication, skills, nothing to do with the policies and all. So I will just move now. So how are non-profit entities in India currently existing? They are existing as Section 8 companies, trusts, societies. So broadly, any non-profit, not-for-profit organization we want to create in this country or already existing in this country are either a Section 8 company or a trust or a society, right? Now I'm coming to the finance context, how and why we are maintaining. So normally corporates and all, they are maintaining their account. One is compliance aspect, but they are more interested in knowing their profitability, knowing their cost. Whereas sector, when we talk about not-for-profit organization, we are basically driven by, if you talk about Section 8 companies, still there is there are rules, governing rules from the Companies Act. But when we talk about trust and societies, which is the maximum numbers in our country in terms of NPOs, they are driven from the income tax law or FCRA law. These are the two major compliance side of it, or which is actually driving them, or where they really need to focus on, apart from how internally they want to do it. What actually a financial statement means for NPO, what actually they need to, on the top, what they have to produce at the end of financial year or half year or quarterly, when they want to see what does that means. That means a balance sheet, income and expenditure account, cash flow statement. Cash flow statement I'm saying because we just talked about Section 8 companies. For trust and societies, still receipt and payment account. Statement of change in equity. Again, I'm coming from the space of Section 8 companies. So I'm covering both, so that people who are operating through Section 8 company, they also get some sense. And the people who are operating through trust and society, they also get a sense. Now it looks so simple that we have to maintain just 3 books of three accounts. This is not just a 3. This is a final summary. So on a day-to-day basis, we need to maintain it in a way like FCRA and domestic. one organization which is just operating through the domestic funds and or no FCRA is involved, still fine. They just need to maintain one set of books where they need to maintain all required, which we'll cover in the next slide. But if there is a organization which is also having FCRA registration and they are getting the FCRA funding and all, for them, it's like operating two organizations. They are running same program, but they are getting funds from FCRA, so they have to maintain separate books of account for their domestic funding, and they have to maintain a separate FCRA, separate books of account for the FCRA transaction. Also, at the end of year, they also need to create a consolidated statement for both domestic and FCRA. That becomes one single entity, consolidated, which is used for income tax filing and audits and all. Okay. What records we talk about when we talk about NPO? What are the records and books we need to maintain? So I'm not talking about the ledger, trial and all. I'm talking about just I'm hoping that the audience or the people who are participating are not only the finance participant, but others are also. So I'm trying to make it simple so that it doesn't look like a technical wording and all. All the money received during the year, we need to maintain record in a way, because there are organizations who are also doing some profit activities, some money raising activities, which are not purely for charity purpose and all. So let's say mix it. Whatever you are doing, whatever money you are getting, you have to maintain it in a manner that you know this is for the specific program, or this is for a specific region, or this is for a domestic, this is from your crowdfunding, this is from your CSR. That way you have to maintain your records for each and every received donation, whatever you say in your organization. Other side of it, whatever you are spending on a day-to-day basis, we have to maintain record of all our expenditures, and we have to record our expenditures in a way which is acceptable by our auditor, which is acceptable by the system for FCRA, for income tax laws and all. Not just, here is the gap I see. What you at your organization are following, we just have to look it from the larger perspective, not only what fits in my organization, but also in the larger ecosystem, how that helps us and how that is going to help us in our reporting, how that is going to help us in our audits. From that perspective, we have to maintain all these reports. So majorly, I'm saying it will go into some ledger, other ledger, it will any transaction will go into some ledger and then trial, and then it will convert into your financial statement. But more, I'm coming from a space where we are at transaction level and we are trying to record it properly. Also, an important thing to maintain for us is maintain the records of all our assets and liabilities. Normally lacking I'm seeing is we have assets in some pockets, some organizations have large number of assets, some have less, but it's not again very focus area. Again, focus is only on programs, operation and all. That is good in a way, but which we cannot ignore, we cannot compromise here, because these are again the compliance issues. And maintaining a compliance for organization is like maintaining the blood in body. If we are short of blood in our body, we are not going to survive for long. Same way for the organization. If there is compliances are not followed, then organization is at risk. And as a finance community, people who are responsible for managing finance and account, it's their duty to ensure that compliances are in place. Whatever books of account documents we are maintaining, we have to maintain for my personal belief. It's 8 years, 7 year varies, and people talk different. But my personal thing, we should keep it for 10 years to be at safe space. I was just talking about the transaction. Where is the maximum problem comes in terms of struggle currently we just do accounting. That the team sitting at the accounting team, if they just focus on the transaction and accounting, then we struggle. So my suggestion is, whenever a transaction happening, just look into this slide. Transactions are at center. just think that transaction may be your payment or income, both, and then you start looking from these lenses. These lenses means your, let's say, expense. Your expense may be a project expense, a non-project expense. Your expense you are doing on behalf of a donor X, Y, Z, A, B, C, D. That tagging you have to do. Your money, what you are spending, maybe a restricted fund or unrestricted fund. Now, again, the same transaction may fall into domestic and FCRA category. There are more like geographical restriction. There may be like some funder, they are supporting you for a city specific. You need to be very careful or very attentive or very sure that this transaction is, when you are focusing or accounting or recording a transaction, you are taking care of all the aspects. And in your system, you have to build your accounting system, whatever you are following, you have to build, you have to design in a way that you can cover all these points at the transaction recording level. Otherwise, struggle is you did accounting, after 6 months, there is a donor utilization certificate you have to submit. Now the struggle is you will again go back to all the transaction line item, then you will identify which is map, which you will take. Let's say tomorrow FCRA domestic come, then that will be the struggle. So if we really want to make it transparent, meaningful, and make our life easy at financing, we have to think more on the design part. Design part, when I'm saying, is when we are recording how in my organization or your organization, you should record your transaction. If you are investing time in designing your transaction recording process, your half of energy, your half of struggle will go away. That's what I can guarantee. Because I personally feel that we are still working on a lot of things. We started from that point where even our organization was following that, but gradually we are now growing and we are learning and we are implementing all these things, where we are saying each transaction itself is identified, defined, tagged to one donor, one city, one program. So at transaction level, we know where is this going to fall. So, and what I'm trying to say, if transaction is recorded properly, tagged properly, your end reports are always correct. You just need to review. You need not to struggle preparing that, struggling with the data. That goes away. So what my suggestion is, every transaction you need to be checked from the multiple lenses. Multiple lenses, when I'm saying these all what we just discussed. Tag your each transaction. Try to create a system where you can tag it to city, where you can tag it to program, where you can tag it to FCRA, non-FCRA at the transaction level. Validate create your system in a way, not just that is your laser is updated, your bank is updated, your financial is updated. But let's also talk about how much impact each transaction is making. What is that much money creating, how much impact that money is creating, how much impact that transaction is creating. If I ask myself, we are making a payment of 50,000 today for a certain payment, how much impact that 50,000 is going to create in my program. That level of perspective, finance team sitting at the back end have to maintain and create. Then only you are a real owner, controller, facilitator in our life. So again, coming in the space, like finance is no more about bookkeeping and accounting. Finance now globally is business analysts, business partnering, and all. So that means finance team, they have a lot of input about data and insights sitting at back end, but they also know what are the program, how is the larger ecosystem behaving, what are the changes happening in the laws and compliances and all. So they can really help the team, program teams, operations, and management with the real solid input, which helps their organization, program, and the larger ecosystem, right? Okay, now I will talk about these two struggle we have in the non-profit organization. One, the tax is too large and complicated, but let's just focus into these two, 12A and ATJ. These are the most talked about section of income tax in NPO sector. So just what is the why 12A and why it is Z? When we say 12A, basically means what we talked about the organization, where we said it may be Section 8 company, it may be trust or a society. If we have, first of all, we need to have a 12A. 12A means where we are submitting our purpose, intent, and document everything to tax authorities and saying, hey, our intention is to create impact and help society and really create impact, not earning profit and all. So based on our input, they issue a 12A certificate. 12A certificate means income or the not income, money raised by organization is exempted, is not taxable. So if our organization NPO is not having 12A, that means whatever money they are earning minus their expenses, that becomes taxable. To give that relaxation, we have a 12A registration, which means NPOs are not supposed to pay income tax, provided they are following the limits, rule, and other things. It's not blanket, they are not taxable. There are sub rules and all which we need to follow. But broadly, 12A means organization is not liable for income tax on the differences of their normally it's like income minus your expenses, which is considered as profit, and the tax rate is applicable, the corporate tax rate and or is applied to that amount, and government asks you for the tax payment. And so this is not there in the not there for the NPO sector, which is covered by 12A certificate. So if you are 12A registered, then you are eligible for that exemption. What is ATZ? So one side, we as an organization, we are getting exemption. ATG was a real benefit to the donor. The people who are contributing for all these costs and all, they are giving money. So they were getting exemption while they are submitting their return and all. They were getting exemption for the money they are donating to these 12A registered, ATG registered organization. There is a change in last year. It was very simple earlier, where ATG registered organization issuing a receipt to the donor that was sufficient for claiming deduction in their respective income tax return. Rule changed 2 years back, where government changed the rule where they say receipt issued by ATG registered organization does not equal to ATG receipt which is eligible for tax exemption. So any receipt you are issuing on a day-to-day basis now is not a ATG receipt actually, which enables donor to claim tax exemption. So what government did is government introduced Form 10BE, which is under ATG only, but a specific form government prescribed. The government said, okay, this is the pattern you need to follow. So now what we need to do? We need to collate all the data for our donor with the specific detail, where we say this is the donor's name, this is donor's identity, where we say PAN number required or Aadhaar required, or there are 4-5 other like. So 10B is the input template. Basically, we have to collate all the data about our donors in that specific template, upload it to the income tax portal through your login and all, and then as an output, you get 10BE. So basically, you have to give input in 10BD, then you get output in 10BE, which 10BE then you have to share with your individual donors or all donors basically. This is a cumbersome process, I know. Again, for the people for the organization who are getting small donation from crowdfunding and all, so the size of number of donors are high. For them, it becomes more cumbersome. But yeah, we have to deal with it. And anyone struggling on this process, they can reach out to me separately. Maybe I can help you somewhere. But yeah, this is where we are. This is new. Last year was, I think, more complicated. System was also not ready. Government side was not ready. But we all did it. This year, I think this is going to be comparatively less painful, but still, yeah, because data collating and all is a painful process. If it is not maintained properly, it is going to be a compliance issue again, and your donor will face a problem. So whatever we have still time, we can focus, we can just look into our data and we can just upload 10 BD. But still, any of you struggling and feel that I can support, you can reach out to me separately. Okay. So what changed in last 1 year or so? I think most of you know that we are more talking about new tax regime now, which is reducing the tax rate for individual taxpayer, but the other side that is also saying no deductions are allowed. That effectively means for the sector, the people, individual who are donating, I'm not saying all people donate with the tax benefit. Most of the people, I think they donate because of cause. They feel connected. They want to contribute to the cause. But salaried people mostly, they feel okay. That is another advantage, or that is another incentive for them if they are donating to us. But with this new regime where ATC deduction is not allowed, organizations who are actually having large portion of crowdfunding, where salaried people are also there, maybe they need to relook into their crowdfunding estimates for coming years. Because if people are not getting ATC deduction, how much motivated they are. Anyway, people who are really motivated about cause and contribution, all they will still continue. But I think there are still 30%, 20% people who are like equally interested in getting tax benefits also. So ATC not having their under new regime, that is something I'm leaving for all of you, how you relate this with your organization and where all you want to make the adjustments and all. That is for all of you. Another key point for you is, if you just go to Niti Aayog site and all, or the corporate site about CSR and all, government site about CSR spending and all, you will see the pattern. The pattern of CSR spending is increasing year on year. So that is an opportunity for all the small and medium NPOs to align your program, to reach out to these organizations who may be your long-term partner. Because CSR is a not choice for them. Looking partner may be a choice, but the spending is not a choice. They anyway have to spend it. So corporates are also equally interested in finding a real on-ground organization which is actually doing a lot of on-ground activities. So I think one way I'm giving you a sense where ATC may be a problem, you need to relook, but other side, you can just feel that CSR spending is increasing significantly, and that is the area actually we all should look into as a sector. Okay. Now, how we talk about what we need to maintain, how we need to maintain transaction, we need to focus on, and restructuring, reporting and all. But strategically, when you are not into day-to-day accounts function, let's say you are on now, you just want to do a retrospect and you just want to think about your long-term planning as well. What we really need to focus in as a sector, as a organization in this sector. So currently, what most of us, we are into a space, we are hand to mouth, right? We have some money, some funders giving money this month, someone giving other month, and then just going on. I think each organization, we really need to invest our resources, our time and all in finding long-term and committed partners for funding, who are really aligned with our program and who can really help us for a longer term. Short-term funding will still continue, that we still need to invest and focus on, but I'm saying we need maybe more focus on long-term partnership, long-term funders. Other thing, this is because this is about finance and accounts basically. So my observation in this sector is finance is like bare minimum. Organization have a small finance team. They are just sitting in one corner, just doing day-to-day transaction. And then when audits and all happening, they are just supposed to finish that audit on time. That's what the expectation is. We are like what I told is accounting is no more about just a bookkeeping and all. Account and finance function, you all, if you are sitting other side of like if you are sitting on the board side or if you are sitting on the management side of your organization, just position your finance team in a way that they do the basic accounting, but they also become enabler for your operation, for your programs and all, where they can really contribute. And this is happening everywhere. This is happening globally. Finance and accounts is not just sitting at the back end. Back end in the sense, not just doing the accounting. They are doing a lot. They have all data for your organization. They know everything about the organization. So they can really help. So for all of you, if you are in finance, start looking yourself from the enabler point of view, not just an accountant point of view. But if you are other side, like board members or program managers and all, start looking your finance team again, like not just a bookkeeper. Ask them for more, empower them up. You know, you can also invest in scaling up them. So now, another key point from my personal observation is don't plan your spend just because you want to spend or you want to next year you want to do something, then you have some plan. So what I am trying to say is secure your funding first. Once you get money in your bank, then you start spending immediately. And for longer term, make sure that you have long-term commitments from your partner, your donor and all. And then because it's not like in other sector where the seasonality in the sense their festive season they earn a lot, then they don't earn, then other cycle comes in. It's like you have to run your program consistently. You have to support your beneficiaries consistently. We can't say no, this month we can't support, next month we'll support. That is not a feasibility. At least in my organization, we have to support our children continuously. We have to pay their fees, we have to pay their accommodation, we have to pay for all their expenses, and we can't say this month we have a shortage of fund. They are just looking forward to us, and we ask them to just focus on study and all. Financial part we take care. Now if we don't plan, we are not well planned for our own finance, how are we going to support them? And I think most of the organization in this sector are at this place, hand to mouth. So your program, long term, everything you plan, keeping in mind that money is needed. Without money, we can't do all these things. So plan accordingly. Again, your fund planning should not just be on some random basis. It should be well aligned with your programs and your project on ground, the policies of larger government and the larger ecosystem, how this is behaving. Your fund planning should be accordingly. Another, my suggestion, my sharing is investing in L&D is something we really need to think about. If we are doing great, if we are not doing, let's say volunteers, just getting volunteer is like one part. Getting volunteer is one challenge. I think more and more organization coming, like ConnectFor is there, like for just to help organization getting volunteer there. But when they are coming to our individual organization, then we also need to invest on all these volunteers and all. Apart from the employees, we are investing in training and skill. If we don't spend, then we are at same place. We are not upgrading. We are just hoping that everything will change. Nothing will change. If we invest well, then train them, then empower them, then we expect them to perform. Then we expect them to come up with the great ideas and create a better society and all. Another thing is technology is playing a really good part everywhere, every organization. whatever the size of our organization is, we really need to think about technology, how much and where we can implement the technology. If we are ignoring technology, again, we are losing a great opportunity. So this is from my side. Thank you very much. I can speak for hours and hours in each subject, but again, timing was there. I thought just to cover, and then we can spend more time on question and answer. Over to you, Aishwarya. Thank you. And thank you all of you for listening and tolerating me.
Thank you so much, Mr. Santosh. It was like detailed, conversation which we had regarding finance, and I'm assuming like it was very helpful for organization. Not just that we have like basic idea, but like to have like in-depth understanding about how we are using your finance module, how the finance module is being implemented at your organization. So I think those are the things really important. And as you mentioned, like there are like few things which are very individual, like organization to organization based. So I mean, let's keep it open to our participants. If you have any questions, participants, you can directly ask the question to Mr. Santosh, and he would be happy to like support you.
Yeah, sure. Whatever we can answer or resolve here, we'll try to resolve that. If anything remains like a larger subject, we can then outside. Hi.
My name is Satyajit. I have a question that what is the difference in invoice and receipt in NGO?
Okay. So receipt is a simple receipt. No, if you receive money that you are acknowledging in a particular format, giving it to your the person who gave you money, that is your receipt, right?
Okay. Yes.
Invoice is, I don't know, it again, like in some organization, applicable invoice. Otherwise, in invoice is basically when your service is completed. Now you are giving, you are asking, or you are confirming that this is the service I'm going to render you, or I have already rendered for.
Yes.
Right? This is the difference. Invoice is not equal to money received. Money receipt is always money received. Nothing to, that may be advanced, that may be after service, that may be before service. So receipt basically is confirmation of amount received. That's it. Whereas invoice is more about what service, what product you are selling or you are rendering. It's detail of that and what are the amount you are charging for that particular service.
Okay, like we're running a NGO. Okay, and if we are providing them a service, so we can take the service amount as a donation. It's applicable.
Service in our senses, let's say, what I'm trying to say is, let's say you are running a program and you are partnering with, I mean, you are supporting some organization in that. So what is your agreement? Let's say in NGO sector, I don't see the great value for invoice. Okay. Because it's more through agreement. You have agreed for execution of some program. They are giving you money for that program. Once you are receiving money, you can just issue a receipt. Let's say now they say, as and when you complete, you can issue an invoice to us and we'll pay you. That may be a MOU level, drafting.
MOU agreement, yeah.
Let's say they say, okay, you are running this program, you are partnering with us, and every month you will raise us invoice for 1 lakh rupees, and we'll reimburse you that 1 lakh, right? Let's say that's the agreement. So you are raising invoice, not per se service. You have one agreement, you have agreed for performing something for that organization. Your activity is a charitable activity, not a profit making activity. So no, it's just because you have a operational module, that's where invoice coming in. Otherwise, if you just remove, they can say invoice is not, you do it monthly, we will remove it, then even invoice is not at all required, right? So again, I say invoice for all these is just a operational model, not a legal requirement or a tax requirement.
Okay, and there is any form, it's a in the previous you just shared the APT and there is a 10BE. There is any 10AB form?
There are multiple form 10 under section 10. which is
Okay.
like from the time when you apply for your
Return.
certificate, the form you have to fill in, the confirmation they issue,
Okay.
the 10BD data you are updating, the result of the certificate they are giving. So under section 10, these all from A, then AB, then B. So multiple forms will
Okay.
come if you
Okay.
follow the section 10.
Okay. Okay. So there is a possibility that there is a form 10 AB also.
Yes,
Okay.
there is, but that is different, not for the purpose of what you call, not a certificate. That is another. Let's say you applied and then you got a certificate.
Okay.
That is 10 AB or something,
Okay.
right?
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Yeah. Thanks.
We have Poonam who have raised the hand. So Poonam, please go ahead with
Yeah,
your
Poonam.
question.
Sir, in just last 2 days before, I first submit a form 10BD, but some donors have no PAN card or Aadhaar card number not given. It is not necessary for fill up the form 10BD.
You can't submit a form 10BD without these information. So you just keep that aside and upload your 10BD only with the information, full information. Wherever you have PAN card, wherever you have Aadhaar card, wherever you have 2-3 more other voter ID card or something. So whichever donor is giving you that detail, only for those cases you can upload the data, not without this information.
Okay, but some donor have the online payment. Some donor have give our website, see our website, and they give payment of online by mobile transfer, UPI transfer, or Google Pay app, using Google Pay app. But they have no information, given any information about your PAN card, Aadhaar card. But they give some little bit money.
Got it.
So it
I
is
think that that's common for all of us. So basically 10BD or 10BE is 10BD is your uploading data, 10BE is a output of that, which where you are giving the certificate to that person that, okay, you gave us donation. Thank you very much. This is the certificate. You can claim your tax in your tax return as a exemption, right? Now, let's say somebody gave you 500, 200, 300 and all. If we have a process where we are having the detail of all these donors, what in our organization also, what we do is all the donation we get through website and all, we are writing back to them, hey, we received this donation and all, if you can submit this data, we'll issue you 10B, otherwise we'll not be able to issue the 10B. Same thing you need to follow. If it is significant in total, then you need to write back and ask for the information and all. If it is minimal, let's say within 5%, 10% of your total donation, it's up to you. You want to follow up, invest that time in following up and identifying the donor and then getting detail, or you just want to leave it, let it go. It's a org level decision we have to take.
okay, sir. Thank you.
I have one question regarding, sorry, myself, Mr. Santosh. So I have a question that in this 10BD, Form 10BD, is it compulsory that address is required?
Address, so far, my understanding is not a compulsory.
Okay. So address is not required at all, right?
No, it's required.
Yeah.
If you just go into format, you will find address column, but it will not stop you. It will not give you an error while you are uploading the data. Or even if you just put a dot, it will give you an output. I'm just going into very minute level. Let's say you address column is there. Just I just put a dot there and I try to upload 10BD. It will go.
Okay, so thank you so much.
Amazing. We have a question from Karishma.
Hi,
Karishma, you
yeah.
can go ahead with your question.
Hello, thank you so much. It was a very insightful webinar, and also, something that we relate to on a daily basis. So it's good to, I'm not in the accounts thing, but my team works, so it's a big learning curve. What I'm actually would like to know is, how does one go about building a corpus in today's day and age for an organization? Because I feel, to be completely dependent on a donor, although we try and we have some long-term partners, but due to COVID, CSR funding going down.
Yes.
There's been an impact on the work, and eventually we work with really disadvantaged communities. So when I have to shut a program, when I have staff and teachers and my beneficiaries, it's really heartbreaking for us to go through that process. And I really do feel like as an organization, I do need to look at building some kind of corpus, but I have no understanding of it. Is there something you can give me some insight on?
Yeah, whatever you mentioned, I can directly relate with the, because we are in same sector, so we know what we are doing and what is the struggle. And yeah, COVID was a really tough time, and I mean, it changed a lot about donor, it changed a lot about organization and all. But just to what I would suggest, what I can suggest, again, we need to really look into where are you, how you are operating, how are your programs and all. But largely, what I mean, just to summarize in few sentences, corpus means you need to plan well. One, you can reach out to some donor who can actually help in into that space, but otherwise normal, which is operational, whatever you are planning for this year, just target for a bit higher and keep that aside. Normally what happens, as and when we are getting money, we just, again, I'm relating to the one slide where I mentioned, plan your spend very wisely. And also, like, where you have a corpus creation in your mind, make sure whatever you are getting, you need to
Put away.
transfer some money to that corpus so that you can build that level of corpus what you are looking for in a few years. That is one way, which is operational and which is doable. Other is bit difficult. Reach out to some people and say, this is the situation and we really need a corpus for backup and all. But I think that is again like reaching out to the so many people that you need to figure out.
Okay. Thank you.
We can move ahead with Pranav Patil's question.
Hi, this is Pranav. I had a
Hi,
question. So is there any limit for cash donations? Like
cash donation,
what people have mentioned is,
yeah, you can take only 2,000,
yes,
not more than that.
Okay. And like what if people want to donate more than 2,000 and they are elderly people, they are not used with this online things and they just want to give us hand over as cash. So what will be the issue that may occur because of this situation?
Just one second now. Aishwarya,
Yes,
I'm not going through chats and all. If you can just go through and just let me know
yes.
What
I
are the
will
things.
take it at the end. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So your question was, people want to donate in cash only, let's say. Okay.
Yes.
And because we are in need of money also, should we go ahead with the with accepting the cash or no? My answer in long term, you should not take it after a limit.
Okay.
After a limit means whatever your total corpus is, just draw a line below 10%. Again, single donation cannot be more than 2,000. That is one. Collectively also, let's say you receive in multiple, draw a line and ensure that that is not going beyond 10% of your total donation. And that is something, if that is going beyond that, that is going to be a challenge for organization, because we have taken a 12A certificate which says certain thing. If you are not following that exemption goes, then there is a lot of problem. Tax authorities start considering your donation as income, and they will start applying the tax. So it's not a good thing, not a great idea to just follow the cash donations and just think of. So a small amounts and all may be okay, again, depending on size of your organization. But in long term, I will say just go with the bank transaction, not to follow the cash transaction, not to chase the cash transaction.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Thank you. We have next question from Satya.
Yeah. Hi, my name is Sai.
Hi, Satya.
So my question is, for startups with like any documentation or procedure it is there?
Sorry?
For startups, any documentation or procedure, so how to maintain these balance sheets?
Startup in the NPO sector, you are saying?
Yes.
Or startup normals? Startup, like again, what you want to create? You want to create a trust, you want to create a society, or you want to create startup. I will not suggest Section 8 company at this point. But again, it depends what you are thinking, what you are planning, how long term your
Like
vision is.
recently we created a bank account, so we don't have any finance team. So try to making these like balance sheets and everything to maintain. So we don't know. So how to maintain any documentation or process, it is there. So
yeah. So maybe Sai, that is a basically understanding lot of things. How currently you are operating, how are transaction, how whether recorded, unrecorded, still lot of brick building is required before we conclude that. So maybe you can we can connect separately outside this and let's see how much I can help you, or I can connect you with the people who can actually help you.
Okay, thank you. I can reach out to you. Thank you.
And then we have one more person from Human Hope Foundation.
Yeah, somebody from
Yeah, you can go ahead with your question.
Hi, good evening. My name is
Hi.
Vikram. मैं just
Hi Vikram.
मैं सिर्फ लास्ट हाफ एन आवर में ही प्रॉपर्ली ज्वाइन कर पाया था, तो मेरी सर्टेन ऑब्जर्वेशन है which I would like to add. ठीक है, there was some lady who asked about corpus. तो उसमें एक सजेशन है कि अगर आपको कॉर्पस लेना है तो टेक एन ईमेल फ्रॉम अ डोनर कि इट इज स्पेसिफिकली फॉर कॉर्पस, अदरवाइज फाइलिंग में आपको नोटिस आएगा. सेकंड, एक आपने कहा था सर जिसे स्मॉल डोनेशंस आती है और हमारे पास कोई इसकी वो नहीं है, जिसे आजकल यूपीआई के थ्रू आती है, उसमें डिटेल्स लेना मुश्किल है, तो उसको हम एनोनिमस डोनेशन में ले सकते हैं, इजंट इट सर?
ले सकते हैं. That's what I said. आप ले सकते हैं, but again, your anonymous donation cannot cross 10%. कितना परसेंट तक लेंगे आप अपना anonymous donation?
इसकी लीगली है कि either 5% और 1 लाख, whichever is higher, जो गवर्नमेंट ने कर 5% और 1 लाख. और सर एक और था इसमें रिगार्डिंग कैश, कि कैश डोनेशन आप कितनी ले सकते हैं. सर देखो, मेरे जो मैंने पढ़ा है उसके हिसाब से कैश डोनेशन लेने में कोई वो नहीं है, देयर इज नो लिमिट टू कैश डोनेशंस यू कैन टेक. बस ये है कि 80G के लिए एक डोनर सिर्फ 2000 रुपए तक कैश दे सकता है, ऐसे ही है ना सर?
Donor cannot take advantage. So I am telling you from suggestion perspective, where I am saying don't chase cash for 2 reasons. Because आपका एक लिमिट है, आपका अगेन इट्स अ वेरी टेक्निकल क्वेश्चन, आई कांट गिव यू पिन पॉइंट. आपका लेट्स से आपका एनुअल रिसीट कितना है, देयर इज अ परसेंटेज. इफ यू आर टेकिंग मोर देन दैट परसेंट, देन you are at a trouble end.
जी, ओके, वी कैन बी क्वेश्चन.
No, you will definitely be questioned. Tax authorities will simply, your CA while making that, you will put in a certain manner, and assessment then will be a question mark, or you have to face that assessment questions and all. And certainly because that is beyond a threshold limit, and they will apply the tax and all. Once tax applies, then next time when you are going for 12A renewal and all, now it's not a lifetime, right? It's a 5-year and all. 12A for you go, they say you are not doing it, you are earning profit, your income is taxable and all. That is going to be a challenge for you. We just don't have to look for today, what is happening today. We also look for 5 years ahead, 2 years ahead, what is going to happen, right? Yeah, but otherwise you are right on that point.
ठीक है, that is it. Thank you.
Yeah, I think I agree with Mr. Santosh, because like when we talk about like donation, we receive like donations two-way, either cash or digital payment. But if you see nowadays, like things are moving very fast digitally, and it's better because then in terms of like government policies as well, if we read through all the government policies, there are so many things which are involved with digital payment. And when there is cash payment, we are like the non-profits are going to face some issues in future, because you don't know from where the income is coming. So I mean, for any organization, it's advised to always accept digital transaction, so your organization is secure, your position and your points are very clear in front of the donors. So I mean, that's something like, you know, it's like applicable to all the organizations. But yeah, we can take more questions. We can just take one or two questions. We have received one question. Yeah, the question is how the total match on the balance when we go to commissioner office, the clerk always find faults and have to request to delete uploaded audit report. So, yeah.
Sorry.
I am Asha Rao. This is my question.
Yeah, can you elaborate?
Yes,
Yeah.
please. Go ahead.
No,
Yeah,
no.
please.
This is what I was saying, every time, though we are new, but going to commissioner's office and then coming back, going to CA all the time. So could you please give us some format, this is what it is, how to check balance, and the first page which you sign, 3 trustees sign, and that is uploaded. That how it is balanced with the other formats, forms, if you can put some light on that.
So,
And we would request you to please give us a sample this thing also, so that we can initiate properly in that. Thank you very much.
so I'm just trying to process that problem. So this means you are saying your income tax return and all documents, which is already submitted into tax portal and all, you are visiting for that?
Yes, sir. So once the auditor signs and gives us the statement, we go to the commissioner's office. It is
No,
already on the portal.
You can submit online. You need not to visit to commissioner office for.
No, sir. They insist that you have to go there, give a copy.
That's the
and
problem. That's the problem, madam.
Ah.
If someone is insisting you to visit and meet someone personally, whereas we have system for online uploading, there is some. I'm not blaming anything, but this is sensing like a wrong indication to me, because
No, but
these.
whenever I go, I am already senior citizen, but when I go, there are always 30 to 40 people standing in a line, and they
Correct,
all.
correct. So what I'm
nearly
saying is,
50%.
first part, I don't know which stage you are talking about, but the first part is whenever these document submission and all is happening, that is through online portal.
Correct.
Our visit may require as and when there is a specific requirement coming in from commissioner office saying, okay, these are the things, these are the document you have to come up with and produce in our office. Then visit is required, but not like what I just introduced, that your financial statement signing and all, then you are visiting for. That is not required. I mean, maybe separately out of this call, you can just connect, we can just connect, and I can maybe, I'm not sure, but I think I can help you.
Definitely, sir. If you can share the number, we will definitely.
Yeah, I will share. I think Aishwarya.
I will, yes,
yeah.
sure. So when we share the thank you email, in that you can just revert that you would like to get in touch with Mr. Santosh, and I can connect you with.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
Thanks.
Because these are very specific thing. I can't give a blanket answer to this. I really need to understand which part of the process you are stopping.
No, sir. This is what I found. They'll say either aisa kyun ho gaya.
I got the point. I got the point.
If they like it, they'll take it looking at your age or gray hair. But sometimes, it is really irritating. 3 times, 4 times standing over there without any facilities. And when the portal is there, why should we be asked to go?
Absolutely.
That was my concern. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Thank you. We have one more question. Is it necessary to collect Aadhaar and PAN, all details, when we are receiving donation of 2,000 or less than that?
10, again, I said it's nothing is no necessity. Necessity is if you want to issue a 10BE certificate, then you need all these things. You take money in your bank account, fine, no problem. But if you need to issue 10BE, you cannot issue without these details. If you are in a space organization where your donors are happy without ATZ 10BE, you can continue doing it. But if your donor asks you about the 10BE, then you will not be in a position to issue 10BE without these details.
Yes. And one more last question.
Can I ask just related? Santosh sir, can we absolutely, do away with the bank account?
With the bank account. So you are
Suppose
talking about
we-
first. Yeah, tell me.
we do not want to take donations, you want to come help us, okay. If you don't want, we do not want to be this thing. We are not looking for, we doing elder care and advocacy. So, like it is a burden always. So can we just do away with the income tax part and this editors, reports and everything, and still continue with the registration with commissioner?
No, ma'am, that's not
Okay.
possible. So if
Okay.
you are part of system, you have to follow the process. There is no way currently where we are completely out of process, where we are like, oh, we are just registered but not supposed to do any compliance part. Unfortunately,
Okay.
that's not our
No, sir,
intentions
I-
are great, but
yeah.
that is not available.
Okay, sir, but I was going through one of the South, this thing, NGOs, who provide legal aid to the senior citizens. And they said, we do not take any money. We just provide. That's why we are not bothered about the income tax and other
Correct.
this thing.
That is possible, but let's say I'm the moment I'm registering myself as an entity and I have that 12A, I have ATZ, then I need to follow it. Let's say I'm
Okay.
doing it for free. I have no organization. I'm doing without even organization in existence. Let's say you are doing alone without entity, without
No, I'm
creating
doing it
any
as
entity.
registered NGO.
Yes. So if you are registered, then we are bound to follow the legality around it.
Okay. Okay. No, I just asked, without the financial part also, you can be registered.
I'm not sure what is the question, but what you are talking is you are registered, but you are not taking any money. This is what you are trying to say?
No, because after the COVID, it is really very difficult to generate donations.
I got it. And then you are saying there is a cost associated with all these audits and compliance and all. This is what you are
Yes, sir.
saying, right?
Yes, sir.
So there are people who are doing, because this is a great cause, ma'am. So there are people who are doing it pro bono. Maybe I don't know how much I can help. Maybe or I can connect you with the people who can help you at least pro bono till the time your funding and all is good. Who can actually help you in this your filing and compliance and all. That's what I can
Thank you
do.
very much, sir. Thank you.
I think that would be a great help. We really appreciate it. I think we have gone beyond time, but
Yeah.
I think Human Hope Foundation have one more point to highlight. So let's just hear then and then we can proceed.
Yeah.
Hi.
Vikrant, I guess, right?
Vikram.
Vikram,
Vikram.
yeah.
नहीं मेरे आपने ना एक पर्टिकुलर पॉइंट बोला था कि यू आर नॉट एडवाइजिंग सेक्शन 8 कंपनी कोई खास कारण की नॉट टू ओपन सेक्शन 8
I will tell you. It's because when you go into company, that is ROC, these trust and society laws are not so rigid and not punishment, penalties and all are not that high. Whereas when you are under company section, penalties and the consequences for not following the compliance are very high. That's the point. Otherwise, I said, if you are at which scale you want to operate, what is your program? Let's say if you are in a small area and looking into a particular small team and all, going for section 8 company means, like ma'am just was sharing, more than you are spending time in your programs and issuing the problem, you have to spend more energy in compliance and all. That is the rational I was suggesting. Otherwise, it's always good to have you will get more funding if you are really looking for a great or a long term or a team size, big size and all. It's always good to have a section 8 company. I'm just, my rationale is that.
ठीक है सर, मतलब अगर हम स्मॉल एरिया में फिर स्मॉल तो लोकल स्टेट के हिसाब से ही चलें सोसाइटी और ट्रस्ट.
That's what my suggestion. Again, एक blanket answer नहीं
नहीं,
होता, but just in general.
I also know the pain of it. So this section 8 company बहुत महंगी और बहुत painful है. ठीक है सर. Thank you.
I think this is it. We have covered almost all kind of questions. I would really like to thank our participants who
Yes, yes.
attended the webinar and who came up with very important questions regarding finance. So really appreciate your time, and I would really like to thank you, Mr. Santosh, for coming and sharing wonderful information about finance. I know few things we feel that okay, we know, but not everybody would know about
Yes.
it. And
Yeah.
coming to one page and sharing the information with all the participants, it was really helpful. Thank you so much, Mr. Santosh. And we look forward to working with you in
Sure,
future.
sure, sure.
And yeah, thank you so much all the participants for joining, and hope you have a great evening.
Thank you, everyone. And thank you, Aishwarya, for this wonderful participants and creating this forum and all. Yeah,
We are
it's
glad.
great.
We are glad to
Yeah.
have speakers like you. Thank you so much,
Thank
participants,
you.
and thank you,
Bye
Mr. Santosh ji.
bye.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Have a great evening. Bye.